Cajole them along. Hello, it's Phil. It's Discover Tai Chi for LimbPower. Here we are, and it's almost mid-July, and it's a bit warmer, thank goodness. So let's do some cooling movements. Here we go. I'm going to do my mix, standing, seated, but let's start off with breeze through a willow tree. So whether we're seated or standing, if you can get the right leg a little bit further forward, might be an inch, might be a bit more, just as if there's a little bit of a lead there. And
Can you
then
turn the sprinkler on? Is Chris in?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna. There we go. Right, here we go. Sweeping hands to and fro. Whee! That's it. Nice and cool. Let's see if we can collectively create a little bit of a breeze. To and fro. Very nice. Just letting tension fall away from the shoulders. See if you can let the shoulders feel as though they're beginning to sink and release tension as we do this gentle little to and fro. Take a breath, maybe. Let it go. Okay. If you did get that right leg forward a bit, bring it back and then see if you can push the left leg forward. Again, it might be a small amount. It might be a bit further. You do you. Here we go. Sweeping the hands to and fro. Can be a bit of a balance challenge, just sweeping the hands. So again, we need to be mindful of that, how it affects our stability as we move gently. Okay, that gets us moving. Create a little bit of air movement. Just have a little step on the spot if you stood up, or just lifting the legs if you sat down. And then we'll have a bit of a wider stance. And let's pick the hands up and hold the sky. Push. Nice and lightly though. Let's not put too much effort in this evening when it's hot and humid. Just move comfortably. Lifting the hands, pushing upwards. Good stuff. Let's do one more. Once again, walk those legs in a little bit. Okay, let's once again have a bit of a wider stance if we can. Imagine we're on our little boat, shifting some weight from one side to the other. Just get used to that idea that we can control our weight from side to side. But we are able to load each leg, or if we're sat down, each hip. Okay, center yourselves, pick the hands up. We're going to look to our left, dropping the left hand, but tip your boat to the right. Let the arrow, imaginary arrow, fly, and then stabilize yourself as you drop the hands, pick them up. And now looking to the right as we let the boat open, tip to the left, let the arrow fly. Down with the hands, and now just alternating one side, then the other, a tip of the boat, a release of the arrow, stabilizing ourselves each time before we lift once more. Again, think of a nice, cool breeze coming across the water. Gonna do one more. Back to the center. Walk those legs in. And again. Okay. I'm going to turn a little bit just to the side, just so you can see. We'll do flying fox. Again, I'm keeping kind of an airy feel to things so that we feel as though we're getting cooled. So flying fox seems apt. So we're going to pick the hands up, out to the sides, and then they're coming over the top. It's as if they come onto the top of a big medicine ball or a big inflatable wall. And then we open the hands back out. And now we take a bow. And as we do so, we turn the palms over and we press the hands back. Don't go too far. You judge how far you feel that you can take a bow and then slowly come back upright. Okay, here we go again. Folding, unfolding. And then we begin to take a bow. So the further the hips go back, generally means the further we can take a bow, because those hips all counterbalance the head coming forwards. Tricky though for those of us with lower limb prosthetics, so just gauge how that feels. So taking a bow, the palms push up and behind, and we take a bow. We get a bit of a stretch through the back, which can feel nice. Here we go again. Pushing. Fab. Upright we come. Good job. Flying fox. Good job. Okay. 4 directions. Wider base of support if you can. Get the feet spread so that you feel as stable as possible. So we're picking the hands up. We're going to push forwards first of all. So gently push against gentle resistance as we push forwards. And let the hands relax. And now pushing to the sides. Here we go. Pushing up overhead. And the hands drop all the way down to the fingertips. Then we pick them up. And finally we push down towards the ground. So if you wish, and it feels okay to you, you could let the breath be a little guide for this movement. Every time we're bringing the hands up into position, could be an in-breath. Every time we push in whatever direction, could be an out-breath. See if that fits with you. Don't worry if it doesn't, just focus on the movement. If it feels like a breath in and then a breath out as you push, then feel free to do so. Maybe just breathe very comfortably as we get the hands ready for the next position, and then start with an in-breath. And out to the sides, push. Breathing comfortably, getting the hands into position to push overhead, maybe with an out breath. And then finally, as we lift the hands, maybe with that in-breath, and then pushing down. Excellent. So take some pressure. Got a bit of a sore stump. I think the hot weather always plays up with me a little bit. I do end up doing a lot of walking at times, so in one sense or another, so a little bit sore. Okay, let's do some rotation. Wise out, always good. So turning to the right, lifting my hands and arms, looking in that direction, and then slowly turning back. Then to the left. If you wish, again, we've got that opportunity for an in-breath. And an out-breath. And then an in-breath if you wish, as we go to the other side. On this one, we can take both arms and gesture in the same direction. Gives us a little more range of motion. Same on the left side. And we'll do the last one. And back. Fab. Okay, time for me to join people who might be seated, watching later. I know you're there. Okay. Let's do our 4 directions, but on these diagonals. Yeah, that's me showing which way we're going. Okay, so we're lifting one hand. This time it's the right hand. So we lift it up and we're pushing up to the left. So we look and push in that direction. Maybe some weight on that left side. And then we draw that hand back. Left hand picks up, push up to the right this time, look in that direction and then draw that hand back towards us. Pick the right hand up, but it's down diagonally to the left. Push. And then draw that hand back. And then left hand, pushing down to the right. So it's a good one for the shoulders as we draw that hand back. So just like the first variation where we had that opportunity for an in-breath as we got each respective hand in position, we can do the same here if that feels right for you. So I'll let you be the judge of that. But here we go, right hand, so that could be an in-breath. As we push up to the left, we can breathe out, push. As we draw the hand back, well, that might even be a breath in if you wish, and then just breathing naturally. And then we pick up the left hand, ready to go up to the right. Could be an in-breath with a push, out breath. And if you feel like it, you could draw that hand back with an in-breath, as if we're drawing something back towards ourselves. Right hand, down to the left, pushing. And then we turn it over and we bring it back, draw it back towards ourselves. And then finally, left hand down to the right. Gives us a good range of motion through the back. Very useful movement. Okay, so we've had an explore of a little Tai Chi form with wave of hands and seaweed, our little back movement, sometimes called harmonizing yin and yang. We know it as seaweed. Shall we have a little go? So we've got Qi Shi, we've got wave hands, 3 complete cycles of wave hands, and then we'll do our seaweed movement. Okay, so are you ready? We can start if we're seated, hands on the tops of the legs, or if you've got the scope, you can have them hanging loose. I'll do that. If you're standing, yeah, hands will be hanging loose. Here we go. Let's pick the hands up. We'll just do one of these. We're going to let the hands drop. And then when we pick them up again, this is where we find our embrace. Right hand on top, if you can remember. And then a turn to the right, and we're into wave hands. Taking that top hand off, swapping hands, left hand on top. Turn to the left. Swap hands. Back to the right. So we just go through the motion, so to speak. I'm heading to the right for the last time. I'm going to get myself across to the left. As I drop that left hand, this is where our slow motion catch comes into play. Beach ball arrives. Boom, got it. Open and close. Could be a breath in. Now then, if you remember from last time, we drop the hands down to the right. Then we sweep across to the left. This is where we get the seaweedy bit of dropping the fingers and bringing them back up to the right. A little sweep down and round until we can clear the bookshelf all the way to the left. You can look in that direction, turn the hands around and bring them back. And then we catch our second beach ball. There it comes. Once again. Open and close, maybe with a breath in and then a breath out. So we went to the right last time, so that must mean we drop the hands down to the left. And we sweep them across our table or worktop to the right. And then the fingers relax and we just sweep them back up to the left. Here's our little circle down and around until the palms are ready to sweep to the right. And then we turn them over and we sweep them back. Here comes our next beach ball. Get ready to catch. There it is. Open and close. And then as we do so, we get in position this time with the left hand on top. Ready for wave hands. So turn to the left. And we're in the cycle. Heading to the right. Maybe with some weight shift in each respective direction, heading back to the left, swapping hands, to the right again, swapping hands. Last time for me, on the left, heading to the right. That right hand's going to drop. Here comes the fourth and final beach ball. There we go. let it push the hands apart, squeeze back, and then we do a little flower to finish. Do you remember we simply cross one hand over the top of the other, turn the hands in, all the way in, out. It's like a little bit of magic, and then scissor the hands apart to come down. Good job. Shall I do that standing up? Let's do that. Simple little Tai Chi form, but it's rather nice with those seaweedy movements in the middle. Okay, I like to try and get a bit of a wider stance if I'm stood up. It gives me a bit of scope to move some weight from one side to the other. So here we go. Ready? Let me count you in. 3, 2, 1. Off we go. We'll just do one of these. Chi-shas. As we pick up, we're going to get the hands in place for wave hands. Right hand on top, if you remember. Turn to the right, so I'm going to get a bit of weight across. Swap hands, and then transfer across to the left with a bit of weight shift as well. And sweeping from one side to the other. If we can get some rotation in, that's good also. So the idea is we finish on the left on this first run. So if you lose count, just remember to finish on the left side. Bring up the left hand and we catch our first beach ball. And then it opens and expands and then squeeze back. Okay, here we go. Seaweed time, down to the right. And then across to the left. Let the hands relax completely, very loose. Fingers up to the right. And then our little sweep down and around. And then across the bookshelf, clear the decks. Back, clear the decks the other way. Second beach ball, here it comes. Catch. Opportunity to rest. Take a breath in, maybe. Breath out. Okay, down to the left this time. Take the hands to the left. Sweep them across to the right. Fingers relax. Back up to the left. Here we go with our flourish around. And then sweep the bookshelf all the way to the right. Sweep back all the way to the center. Third beach ball comes in. Catch. Here we go. Open and close. As we bring the hands back, we can drop the right hand under the left. We're ready for wave hands to the left first of all. And then we're heading to the right. 3 cycles. As I say, don't worry if you lose count on the return journey, so to speak. We need to finish on the right side. So just maybe keep that in mind rather than how many have you actually done. See, while I've been talking, I've lost count, so I'm going to go once more to the left. And then back to the right to pick up for our 4th and final beach ball. Here we go. And then we cross one hand on top of the other, turn them in. Let me turn a little bit so you can see all the way in and up. And scissor the hands apart. Makes for a very neat little finish. Awesome. Good job. Okay, so let's begin to round things off. We okay for a minute or two? We started a bit later, so another minute or so. Okay, so let's kind of begin to close things down. Let's start large, shall we? So we're going to pick the hands up all the way up to the top. And then let the hands come down. Hands come into view, press down and down to the ground. And then pick them up. Another opportunity maybe for a big breath in. And then bring the hands down. Breath out if that feels right for you. One more time. Okay, a little bit smaller. So now the hands just lift them and fold before they get any higher than the shoulders, and then down. So we're beginning to bring things back towards ourselves. And then this time we push the fingers forwards and then up and draw in. So now we're at the smallest kind of circle, pressing the hands down, pushing forwards. Could be a breath in as we gather towards ourselves and then a press. Let's do our third and final gathering, closing movement. Press down. And then a tiny circle. Clasp the hands. Let them rest. Get yourself comfy. Ease some pressure. Take a breath. Let it go. Rest your eyes. 30 seconds. That's all we need. Just breathe. Focus on the breath for just a short while. Nothing more. And then we can part the hands. And there we go. Hopefully a cooling, refreshing set of movements, not too strenuous. A little revisit of our seaweedy form. So hopefully we will see you next week. And I don't think, we've got the Olympics coming up, but we've still got a little ways to go, haven't we, before that arrives. So I think sporting events are not on the horizon for much until then. So hopefully we'll see you then. I'm going to stop the recording.